Good morning. Good morning and welcome to the graduation for the class of 2022. How exciting. Yes, to the board, to superintendent, interim superintendent, to our parents, our families and friends. On behalf of this graduating class, we would like to welcome you to the summer commencement. This is certainly the beginning of something new as we close a chapter of the lives of these young folks. Our graduates, I say congratulations. To our families, our friends who are supporting them, I too say what? Congratulations to you, because you helped them through this journey. My challenge as we move into this graduation is that we continue to move forward. As you'll find out if you hadn't already, adulting is challenging. And we're going to still need the support of our family and of our friends. And as we close this chapter, we certainly begin something new. So welcome to New Beginnings. Welcome to the commencement of the class of 2022. The journey has just begun.
At this time, I kindly ask everyone to silence your cell phones and please stand for the presentation of colors and remain standing for the national anthem.
The dawn's early light, what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
All right, thank you so much. You may be seated. My name is Dr. Pamela Ford, and I am the Director of Educational Innovation, and I am so excited to be here to celebrate your success in your next journey. We are happy to be here. I am honored to stand before you to introduce our platform guests. At this time, I would like if you would just wave your hand as I call your name. Ms. Jennifer Woopsy, who's our Kansas City Public School Board member. You're welcome. You can clap. Yeah. We have Dr. Jennifer Collier, Interim Superintendent of the Kansas City Public Schools. We have Dr. Lloyd Jackson, Assistant Superintendent of School Leadership. Mrs. Susanna L. Zarara, Latinx Education Collaborative and Community Member. We have also Ms. Lori Peters, Extended Learning Opportunity Coordinator. And we also have Ms. Takia Steele, Grad Coach. All right, thank you so much. And at this time, we will move directly to students' reflections. All righty. Will our first student come up? Is it Emil? Emil. Let me not mess. Let me stop.
We have Miss Emily Jimenez Espinosa.
First, I would like to thank Ms. Lori for giving me the opportunity to give a speech for our class of 2022. My name is Emily Jimenez Espinosa. I am a teen mom to a handsome son that is 4, soon to be 5 in December. I honestly would have never thought I'd be here graduating today. Just a few months ago, I gave up on school because I was facing the reality of life. I was depressed. I was not mentally okay. I'd work from 4 in the morning to 4 in the afternoon and go home to my son. I would eventually fall asleep and never have time to finish my schoolwork online. I was behind in schoolwork and knew I wouldn't be graduating on time. I emailed Miss Lori if there are any other dates of to graduate. I took the opportunity in summer academy. I had a whole month to catch up. When there was a week left to finish my assignments, I had started a new job working from 6 in the afternoon to 4 to 5 o'clock in the morning. After work, I stayed up and finished the work. There would be days I wouldn't sleep. I'd cry out of frustration because I would let my negative thoughts get the best of me. I honestly felt like if I fell in school, I fell in life, but I used that as a motivation to keep me going and to show people that doubted me wrong. It's still crazy to me I'm here today walking the stage and I am the first in my generation to graduate. I thank my mother for not giving up on me, supporting me, and loving me unconditionally. I thank my brother Alexander and sister Shay for always believing in me that I could do it. Thank you to my best friend Espy for making sure I was okay physically and mentally. And most importantly, my son, because of him, I'm here today walking the stage, not for myself, but for him as well. It's been a tough school year, but we managed to get through it. Congratulations to class of 2022, and always remember to get your money up and not your funny up.
Oh, you did so good.
Thank you.
Whatever.
This way? Okay, let me get mine.
You need your paper. It's okay. It's okay. There you go. You got it. Good job, Emily. Angel Vega Orozco.
Thank you, Emily. That was a great speech. Hello, my name is Angel Vega, and let me see. All right. First off, I would like to say congratulations to all the graduates. You know, guys, we made it. And honestly, I wish all of you the best in your future endeavors. And it's been quite a long journey, hasn't it? For some, it may have been harder, but really, that wasn't the case for me. I found out the hard way that it doesn't cost nothing but time for you to pay attention. That's exactly what I didn't do. I'll be honest, I procrastinated a lot when it came to school. But if it wasn't for a few certain people that pushed me I would not be here today. So I'd like to say a few things about these people. For the first, Mr. Campbell, who's not here today, but words can't describe how lucky I was to have him teaching and his guidance. If it wasn't for that call that he gave me, I honestly would not have been here. And I'll always be grateful for him taking the time and the effort to help me through and just push through to graduate. And so thank you, Mr. Campbell, for everything. I don't know if you're watching, but yeah. And lastly, I would like to thank my family the most. Most importantly, my mom. I know we had our ups and downs, but it was always you that encouraged me. Always you that was there for me when I thought I was alone in all of this. You put me and my two brothers and older sisters through high school. Not only that, but you're still raising my little brother and sister. I always asked, how do you do it? I never understood how hard it was to do what you do. I'm sorry if I haven't been appreciative of that, but you really do inspire me the most. You inspire me to become a better me, not just for myself, but to others as well. I love you. Thank you for everything, Mom.
Angel. I hope you guys brought your tissue. Next, presenting our occasion. I have so much to say about her, but it's a small ceremony. Miss Susana Elizares. She'll get us correct. She is a product and a student of the Kansas City, Missouri Public School District. She was a teacher within the district, and currently she is doing amazing things with the Latinx Education Collaborative, and she is here to give the occasion.
I know, right? Good morning, everyone. No worries to my colleagues at Susana Elizaras. I was just telling them how my husband, just had to bless me with a really wonderful last name. So we practiced as a team yesterday afternoon, and, we tried it this morning. It's good to be here with y'all this morning. As Lori said, I went to KCPS as a student, and I was a teacher here at KCPS for 6 years. It really, when I got the call from Lori to come and speak here, it's almost the full circle for me. Because as a teacher, I was the teacher who, I think I have a couple of my students in the audience. It makes me so proud. As a teacher, I was the teacher that the kiddos who were fed up with school or fed up with another teacher or fed up with an assignment, they'd come to me at lunch. And I'd be like, I kind of wanted like 15 minutes of quiet time, but they would come to me, and it would be oftentimes my students who were struggling. I'm here to tell you a little bit about my story, and about, hopefully it'll inspire y'all just a little bit and tell y'all to keep pushing. I'm first generation like you, Emily, first generation here in the United States. My parents both immigrated from Mexico in 1985. There's this really creepy story about them crossing the river literally in the middle of the night. And to this day, I don't like open water because of that story. My parents came here undocumented, not knowing the culture, not knowing the language. And they came here literally in the name of education. Those of us who have come from other countries, a lot of times the thing is, I want to go where my kids could go to school, get a good education. And here we are. When I went to school, I learned something though, which is that oftentimes schools are places in the community where you have to get yourself together before you come here. And to me, that's backwards. Our schools should be a community hub where our teachers, our school districts are listening and say, oh, We have first-generation students. We have students who speak this language, and then we change that school based on that. That's not what happens now, and this is across the country. I do the work for Latinx Education Collaborative, and our mission is to increase Latino representation in schools. And the reason why we do that work is because when students have teachers who look like them, they're more likely to graduate high school. Y'all know the opposite of that. People use the term dropout. I don't. In our organization and for myself, I use the word push out. Because our systems and the work that's happening in schools should be to the service of you, should be to the service of us. And if I decide to leave school, it's because that's not happening. Dropping out to drop out puts the responsibility on the student. And maybe a lot of you are going to disagree with me right now. The responsibility is on the student. Ya están grandes, 16, 17, right? They drop out, they drop out. But the reality is, if I'm being told over and over that I can't, that I'm not for this, this ain't for me, I'm not good enough in math, I'm not good enough in reading, that responsibility needs to be put on the system. And so I encourage all of you to consider using the term push out versus drop out. And so why I do the work that I do. I'm going to give you 2 examples of what I mean about schools not being necessarily made for all of us. As I said, when I was growing up, my mom was undocumented. Those of us who have that life experience, we know that people of authority are intimidating, like straight up scary. Even the cashier at the store, my mom didn't want to cause too much attention. I remember one time we were at Price Chopper. I grew up in Northeast. I live in Northeast. We were at Price Chopper, and my mom accidentally put a box of hair ties in her pocket. You know, as you're walking around, you just was looking at it, she put it in her pocket. And when we were walking out, the alarms went off. The amount of fear, and it almost brings up emotion, because it was so innocent. Me, who I'm documented and I speak English, I could just say, oh, shit, my bad, here you go, right? She couldn't do that. So the amount of fear, us kids sitting next to her, what's gonna happen next? Of course, give the things back and say, sorry, it was a mistake. That was the experience we had in schools often too. We have a security guard at the front of our schools. Don't cause attention. I don't have an ID. My mom didn't have an ID. The perception may be, oh, well, Susana's mom don't care. Susana's mom don't come. She must not have supportive parents. Though my mom can't read and write in Spanish or English, I learned to read and write before I started kindergarten. She taught me. She was invested in my education, but because school says, you gotta be like this before you come here, my mom didn't feel safe to engage in schools. Fast forward to high school. You see my big earrings, I purposefully wear them at things like this because when I was in high school, I was told that in order to be professional, my earrings shouldn't be bigger than a quarter. Here's the thing. Those of us who are raised the way that I was raised, this is a part of my culture. To us, this ain't ghetto. This ain't unprofessional. By the way, I'm using the word ain't, right? The way that I was raised, who I am, by default is unprofessional. So I had to change who I was. Those are 2 examples right there that if I didn't have the determination and the push that I had, may have been the end for me. Where I would have been like, you know what? You're right, I'm out. Do you see how that then results in push out versus drop out? And for some of us that could be the straw that breaks the camel's back. Now, if you know me, you know that I'm going to keep going and I'm going to keep pushing. I'm going to do what I got to do despite what is going to be said, because my parents sacrificed their dreams of being a doctor and being a teacher so that I could teach, so that my siblings, my kids can pursue their dreams. My parents didn't get that chance. So here's my encouragement for you. We've been told that we have to conform and be a certain way in order to participate in society. Find the people who will support you regardless, because they exist. If your aspiration is to go to college and to pursue more education, find the people who are going to have your back, because they're there. Number one, you got me right here. Susana Lizarraraz, I got your back. But number two, start doing your research. Know your rights. You have them. When you go to college, if there's something you're unable to access, figure out who you need to talk to access it. Because the way that we get information is going to be in English, it's going to be standard, it's not going to be something that necessarily all of our moms, including mine to this day, can help me with. I had to go find those people and those resources who are going to be able to support me. What I'm going to leave you with is the word push. I'm the first in my family to graduate high school, then the first to get my bachelor's, and now the first to get my master's. It took a push, and it took a lot. Those of y'all who know me, it took a lot of fighting. I don't like to use the word fighting because it shouldn't be put on you like that, but for me, that was a fact. Push, find your people, and I'm going to push with you. Congratulations, y'all.
I apologize. My book is out of order. I would like to introduce our interim superintendent, Dr. Jennifer Collier.
Good morning. I'm Dr. Jennifer Collier, Interim Superintendent, and it's my pleasure to welcome you to Manual Career and Technical School. To the family and the friends of the class of 2022, we thank you all for joining us today to celebrate your students. We have a lot to celebrate. The students that are in this auditorium today that are graduating, they had their sophomore, their junior, and senior years somewhat disrupted by the pandemic. But you know what? They persevered. They understood that a high school diploma is the beginning and not the end. And they chose to show up for Summer Academy every day. And I just want to pause for just a quick moment just to talk a little bit about this word perseverance. For you all in May when the commencements happened, when your peers were graduating, you could have made a choice to just say, I'm going to throw in the towel, forget it, or even just dealing with some of your own personal challenges that you all talked about. But your choice was to stay in the game, to keep pushing. And because you made that choice, you've won. You've already won when you made the choice to continue to persevere. And the truth is, in life, there are many ups and downs. There are a lot of victories. There are a lot of successes. But life is also filled with some disappointments. It's filled with challenges. And it's filled with setbacks. But if you make up in your mind that you're not going to focus and dwell on the setbacks, instead of worrying about your misstep or your mistake, what I want you to do is to think about your next step. What's next? There's always something next if you keep a positive attitude and you keep believing and you keep pushing, like Susanna told you. 22 years ago, I wasn't much older than you are, and I had just gotten my first job with Kansas City Public Schools as a substitute teacher. Although I loved teaching music at Mary Harmon Weeks Elementary, I hadn't planned to stay in Kansas City. No, my plan was to move off to New York City and to perform at the Metropolitan Opera or somewhere on Broadway. But of course, plans change. A little over a year into my long-term subbing assignment, I received a call telling me that I was needed at Northeast High School, where I began teaching music that following Monday. I didn't have much time to pivot, and I did. Over the next 20 years, I have received several calls just like that. And each time, I would go wherever it was that I was needed. And as I look back, I have no regrets. I'm glad I made the choice. I'm glad that I chose KCPS for my career. I'm telling you this story because when I graduated from high school, I didn't dream of becoming a teacher or a principal or even a superintendent. But my plans changed. And you know what? Yours may as well. In some ways, it may change for good or bad. Some ways it may be frustrating, it may be exciting. But just know that you may not be on the exact path in 5 or 10 years, and that's okay. Open yourself up for possibilities, for exploration, to really discover what it is that you want to do. Now you're preparing to graduate, and your Kansas City Schools diploma can unlock doors for you. Our graduates are highly sought after. Our employers tell us they're looking for folks who are creative, those who are critical thinkers, people who know how to communicate and to collaborate, and that's you. So when your call comes, you will be ready to answer. Finally, in closing, I want to remind you that you cannot achieve success on anybody else's timeline except your own. You can look up to other people, you can admire other people, and you can learn from other people. All of that is good. But guess what? You need to be an original. My mother always told me that. She always said, Jennifer, a carbon copy will never be as good as the original. Show up every day as your authentic self. You don't have to apologize for who you are. Everything that you have, everything that you are, is needed. So go ahead and be who you are. Don't try to be anybody else. Moms, dads, aunts, uncles, grandparents, siblings, and friends. You've always seen the potentials in your student and your family member. We want to thank you for partnering with us here in Kansas City Public Schools and for allowing us also to be a part of that village to support your children. As you celebrate this afternoon, remind your graduate that they will always have your love and support. To the class of 2022, I want you to know that KCPS is proud of you. You have indeed made it. You've persevered. And we can't wait to see what you do next. But the question that I want to leave with you today, what will be your next step? Thank you.
Dr. Collier. Please. Candidates for graduation, please stand. Dr. Collier, on behalf of the KCPS Summer Academy, it is my honor to present you to the July 2022 candidates for graduation. These students have met all district and state graduation requirements to be considered a graduate of the Kansas City Public Schools. Dr. Collier, we would like to invite you to accept our July graduating class of 2022.
Upon the recommendation of administration and faculty of the Kansas City PS Summer Academy, I seek the authority of the chair and school board of the Kansas City Public Schools to confer upon each of you a high school diploma, with all rights, privileges, and responsibilities thereunto appertaining. Members of the board, do you accept this class?
We do.
Thank you. As interim superintendent of the Kansas City Public Schools, I certify that these seniors have met all of the requirements set forth by the Kansas City Public Schools Board and State of Missouri. By the power vested in me, I hereby declare the July class of 2022 to be graduates of the Kansas City Public Schools.
Angel Vega Orozco. Emily Jimenez Espinoza. Sorry, I have to take the picture. It's okay. Back up. Aaliyah Bland.
Andrea Revele Saldana. Diavion Washington. Tommy Conger. Andy Marufo Gonzalez. Hadig Abukar. Kwasan. Abdulwasir Mahat. Serene G.
Congratulations, candidates. But before we close this morning's commencement ceremony, you guys can continue to stand, please. It's all about you, the graduates. Give them a round of applause. Okay, you can sit down. So before we close this morning's commencement ceremony, I'd like to take the opportunity to say on behalf of East, Southeast, Lincoln High Schools, the Evening Academy, and the Kansas City Public School District, congratulations, graduates, and families. A special shout out to all the students, personal cheerleaders, coaches, and their day ones that helped them get to this space and place. Students, this is not the end of your educational journey. This is truly the beginning. Through your hardships and trials, through your tears and doubts you endured throughout this year, you had to go through those moments to get to this one. Remember, you only graduate from high school once, and this is one big step to the rest of your future. So now, it is time for the turning of your tassels. Please move your tassels from the right to the left of your cap, as you are now a high school graduate. Yes. And before we end the ceremony, parents, I'm going to ask that you remain seated as the graduates exit. But graduates, congratulations, you did it.